confessed.
Why did he not confess at the time? Well, what I can tell you is it took my client time to come to terms with what had happened.
It's a major turn in a case that shocked the Southtowns. The prime suspect now admits he is the one who killed the manager of Toys R Us in Hamburg. This is Bernard Grucza, hugging co-workers and chatting with police at the scene of the crime last June.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel here. It's Lavender here, and today I'm doing another true crime case. Today I'm doing the true crime case of Bernard Grucza, the Toys R Us killer that killed the manager in the second line, I think, that worked there. So let's get started into this video. So I decided to do this video because I've seen this case in I think, Oxygen show that I watched. And this is one of the cases that fascinate me, that this guy literally was in a position of power and got away with a bunch of things he did. You know, it's just crazy. The story really intrigued me, so I wanted to get started into this video. I saw this case like a while ago, so let's get started into this true crime case. Here we go. So this case has been featured in a number of TV and media. This case was featured in Murdered by Morning on the true crime series Oxygen Network. And so let's get started. So the background into the events leading up to, you know, this murder. So this is the story. So here we go. So Bernard Grucza, sorry if I'm saying it wrong, I'm not really good at names, so sorry if I don't say names correctly. He stole from the company Toys R Us numerous times while being the manager there, the person who looks out for shoplifters, you know, the protection, you know, of profits or, you know, merchandise or whatever. What's funny is that he made a decent salary compared to what other people, you know, made, you know, on average. He made like a high amount for just working at Toys R Us. You know, and he often stole from Toys R Us that he was employed from over the course of several years leading up to this murder. So, Bernard would come to the Toys R Us office. He managed the store, you know, for the last time to try to steal money from a Toys R Us safe in the main back office. He knew people were working there at the time, but he thought because he knew the layout and the shifts that he would be able to sneak in there and rob the Toys R Us store without people noticing in the back, you know, of him, you know, doing this crime. Some of the employees of this particular Toys R Us store were working in the store between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. on June 29th. One heard an alarm of some sort going off in the office and tried to radio Larry Wells to shut it down. When there was no answer from Larry, another employee went to investigate the situation in the office to find him. She then stumbled across his bloodied body, his corpse, and a rapidly spreading pool of bloodshed that was in the office. He had been stabbed to death by an intruder in the Toys R Us office space who tried to rob the Toys R Us in the office where the safe was. Larry Wells, who was 35 years old at the time, lay dead in the office of stab wounds. Why would anyone / who would want to hurt the well-liked father and co-worker of the Toys R Us store who fostered a family-like, you know, nice, you know, workplace atmosphere among the store's employees? You know, detectives would ask themselves. Detectives decided to go, you know, start searching for DNA, you know, forensic, you know, science DNA, you know, for the crime scene and evidence to see if there was anything there. The security cameras / you know, the unit had been unplugged. There was a 2007 University of Florida Gators cap on the floor in the blood-drenched office. Both needed to be tested to see if they had any scientific DNA findings or evidence on the cap. You know, in the samples, they also asked for the store's, you know, loss prevention expert, Bernard, to walk them through viewing whatever security footage had existed in the building at the time. The video showed a man, clearly in disguise, waving a large hunting knife, a very eerie, you know, scene, entering the store at 4:24 a.m. Detectives believed the suspect understood the store's layout perfectly and securely, very well. They thought it could be an insider based on the way that he zigzagged around aisles and largely avoided all, if not most, of the security cameras. At 4:32 a.m. in the morning, the figure entered the Wells office. At 4:39 a.m., the footage cut out, likely from the power on the DVR being pulled. Investigators found investigators found usable DNA on the gator's hat that was left at the crime scene and swabbed dozen employees and potential suspects, but located no match until they actually realized later. Investigators later realized after, a couple months they forgot to, ask for a DNA swab, of someone's DNA from the store's prevention loss expert, Bernard Grucza. He had been filled with excuses saying that he didn't have time to be swabbed, and just a bunch of procrastination, excuses. At roughly 100 days since the murder, the investigators asked him if he could have his DNA, in which they did. The results came back, and Bernard was a perfect match for the gator's hat DNA. Detectives went to his home to confront him on camera and asked why he did this, and he later made a confession saying what he did, stating that Larry had walked into the office and confronted the masked man, aka him, and that he was in total panic. He didn't know what to do. He didn't want to get caught, and he just wanted to rob the Toys R Us. And in a panic, because Larry started to fight back, he stabbed him and fled the brutal crime scene after the fact. Although after this, he continually insists that he had nothing to do with this, and he was innocent of this whole entire crime, even in the face of his DNA being on the Gators hat, the Gators college hat. They arrested him that day and charged him. While searching his house, authorities again found stockpiles of electronics and toys that he had stolen from his place of work, the Toys R Us, which he worked at. He made a decent salary, but he was in the right position to rip off the company that employed him, Toys R Us, and as part of a later plea deal in this case, he admitted to using his role in the loss prevention, expert or whatever, to steal more than $200,000 worth in merchandise and toys and video games from the Toys R Us store that he would use to later go on to sell at eBay. He also pleaded guilty to first-degree murder. He also pleaded guilty to first-degree manslaughter, admitting that he had entered the store, with the intention of robbing the safe. And he actually was living above, his means. He wasn't satisfied with making the above average, daily, yearly salary. He wanted to make like what a millionaire, would, make. He was cheating on his wife, and his wife left him. And, he's having problems with his wife. He wanted to live like this millionaire, rich, famous bachelor male lifestyle. He had debts totaling $1.2 million. He had a $450,000 home that he lived in and a late model Cadillac Escalade. The news station reported. In July 2014, a judge handed him the harshest penalty available for, the crime in which he did, the charges, 25 years in prison and 5 years of probation. He actually didn't get a life sentence, which is really surprising to me, but yeah. And the victim's widow, the wife of the victim, had written a victim's impact statement saying that read that he had stolen her husband and best friend from her. We were supposed to grow old together, raise our children together, and watch them grow up, she said, but instead he was taken from us too early. So if you guys like this video, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Bye guys, next video.